Hello students, I am Dr. Amol Rahane welcomes you to today's lecture. We are studying the course Physics Principles and Applications for FYBSc Physics Paper 2 Semester 1. In this lecture, we will start our fourth chapter, Sources of Electromagnetic Waves. So in this lecture, we will study what are the electromagnetic waves, their historical perspectives, how electromagnetic waves are produced, different types of electromagnetic waves, and properties of electromagnetic waves. So let us start with the what is meant by electromagnetic waves. So we know the visible light or light coming from sun, it reaches earth, right? So that light come to us in the form of waves. Again, we know the television or radio signal in our day-to-day life. The transmission of television from the television station that reaches us at our homes, and our receiver at the our television set, it will receive the whatever broadcasted at the station. Similarly, the radio signal is also there. The radio broadcast given at the radio stations, they will be received by our radio sets. Similarly, the mobile communication. So we know the mobile communication, that mobile communication is a wireless communication between the two mobile sets. So they are connected via the operator and the network towers installed at several places. So in our day-to-day life, we have the we use the transformer in various electrical instruments, where the electric current from one coil induces current in the another coil, right? So we also use TV remotes in our households. So these TV remotes, wirelessly we can change the channels or switch on and off the television sets. In our households, we also use the microwave oven. Inside the microwave oven, we cook food. That food will be cooked using the microwaves. In the hospitals, we use the X-rays to scan the body and any defect in the bones that are detected by the X-rays. All these radiations use same or different types of electromagnetic radiations. So all these applications that so all these applications I have given here, they use same or other form of electromagnetic radiations. Then what are the electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations? So electromagnetic waves or EM waves are waves that are created as a result of vibrations between an electric field and a magnetic field. In other words, electromagnetic waves are composed of oscillating magnetic and electric fields. So electromagnetic waves are formed when an electric field comes in contact with a magnetic field. So it can be shown from Maxwell's equations that electric and magnetic fields are perpendicular to each other and to the direction of propagation of the wave. So the electromagnetic waves, they do not need matter to transfer energy, right? So the light waves that are coming from the sun, they are reaches us or reaches the earth without any matter in between. that means there is a vacuum in between earth and sun, still the light waves, they are coming from sun to us, right? So that means they do not need any matter to transfer energy, right? So let us study what are the historical perspectives of electromagnetic waves. So visible light was the only part of electromagnetic spectrum that we were knowing earlier, and the Greeks studied some of the properties like reflection and refraction, right? So ancient Greeks, they studied some of the properties of this light such as reflection and refraction. So first discovery of the uh, infrared radiation was done by William Herschel in 1800, right? So it was the first, we can say the first electromagnetic radiation other than light was discovered in 1800 by William Herschel. In the next year, Johann Ritter, he discovered invisible light rays induce certain chemical reactions and he called them chemical rays, right? So why he called them chemical rays? Because these radiations, they are inducing certain chemical reactions in the solution, right? And therefore he called them chemical rays, and later they were renamed as UV rays or ultraviolet rays, right? So in 1845, Michael Faraday, he was studying some light, and he did polarization of light traveling through a transparent material, and he has shown that that polarized light traveling through a transparent material is responded to a magnetic field, right? So whatever the magnetic field will be present there at the surrounding, the light polarization will be affected by the magnetic field, right? In 1860, James Maxwell, he developed 4 different equations for electromagnetic field, and these 4 equations are the basics of electromagnetic theory that we know, and these equations are called as Maxwell's equations, right? So out of these equations, out of these 4 equations, 2 of the equations predicted the possibility and existence and behavior of the waves in the field. So they predicted that such kind of waves will be present in the field, and that waves, they may be exist, and whatever their behavior, that behavior is also predicted by the 2 equations, Maxwell's equations, right? He also predicted velocity of these theoretical waves, and that velocity is equal to speed of light, that is the physical limit, right? So that is the natural limit, and therefore he predicted these electromagnetic waves be traveling with the speed of light, right? So he also predicted infinite number of frequencies of these waves, and thus he gave the indication of existence of electromagnetic spectrum, right? So from his equations, or the Maxwell's equations, it is clear that the range of frequencies of the electromagnetic waves may be present, and therefore the whole spectrum is exist, right? So in 1886, Heinrich Hertz, he was the first who produced electromagnetic waves in laboratory. So until then, the electromagnetic waves were not produced in the laboratory. All the waves, they were existing in the nature, right? So Heinrich Hertz, he first produced electromagnetic waves in the laboratory. So he built an instrument to generate and detect electromagnetic waves. So he produced radio waves in the laboratory. So he also produced and studied microwaves. In 1895, William Röntgen, he discovered unknown rays. So that time they were unknown, and therefore he called them X-rays, right? So X-rays are able to travel through human body and absorbed by the bones and teeth, that we know, and because of that the X-rays are very useful in the applications, in the various applications such as security scanners at the airports, malls. Also X-rays are useful in hospitals to detect any fracture in the bones and teeth. In 1900, Paul Villard, while studying radioactive emissions, called more penetrating particles than alpha and beta particles. So he was studying radioactive emissions and he discovered some particles, and he called them, these are some particles, they are having more penetrating power than alpha and beta particles known at that time, right? And therefore he called them the particles, right? And in 1903, Ernest Rutherford, he studied these particles and he renamed them gamma rays, right? So in 1910, William Henry Bragg, he demonstrated that gamma rays are part of electromagnetic radiation and they are not particle but they are rays. In 1914, Rutherford and Edward Andrett measured wavelength of gamma rays. So let us see how these electromagnetic waves are produced. So we know that Henry Hertz produced the electromagnetic waves in the laboratory very first time, right? So he did some experiment, and that experiment is called as Hertz experiment. So based on a simple experiment, in 1986 he produced electromagnetic waves, and in 1888 he confirmed the existence of electromagnetic waves in research paper. An oscillating electric charge radiates electromagnetic waves, right? So we know that the oscillating electric charge, it radiates the electromagnetic waves, and the energy of these waves is due to the kinetic energy of the oscillating electric charge. So in his experiment, he used two metal plates A and B. They are placed at a distance of 60 centimeter from each other, and the metal plates are connected to two polished metal spheres S1 and S2 by thick copper wires. Using induction coil, a high potential difference is applied across the small gap between the spheres. Due to the high potential difference across S1 and S2, the air in the small gap between the spheres get ionized and provided a path for the discharge of the plates. So S1 and S2 are the two spheres, right? A spark is produced between S1 and S2, and electromagnetic waves of high frequency are radiated, which are easily detected by the detector. So Hertz was able to produce electromagnetic waves of frequency about 5 into 10 raised to 7 Hertz. So here the plates A and B act as a capacitor having small capacitance of value C, and the connecting wires provide two inductance, low inductance L. The high frequency oscillation of charges between the plates is given by nu is equal to 1 upon 2 pi square root of LC. So in this experiment, Hertz confirmed the Maxwell's theories about the existence of electromagnetic radiation. So that means Maxwell predicted the existence of electromagnetic radiation, so he predicted theoretically by using his equations and his theory, but Hertz was the first who confirmed the Maxwell theory of electromagnetic radiation and confirmed the existence of electromagnetic radiation, right? So in recognition of his work, the unit of frequency 1 cycle per second is renamed as Hertz. So we know that the unit of frequency is Hertz. It is renamed after Heinrich Hertz. So let us now study the different types of electromagnetic waves, right? So we know the gamma radiation, then we know the X-ray radiation, ultraviolet radiation, visible radiation, infrared radiation, microwave radiation, radio waves, right? So all these waves, they are arranged with the increasing wavelength or decreasing frequency or energy, right? That means the gamma rays having lowest wavelength, but they are having highest frequency and hence highest energy radiation, right? Whereas the radio waves having larger wavelengths, but their frequency or energy will be very small. So electromagnetic radiation can travel through empty space. Let us now study the properties of electromagnetic waves. So electromagnetic radiation can travel through empty space or vacuum. Most other types of wave must travel through some sort of substance, right? For example, sound waves need either a gas, a solid or liquid to pass through in order to be heard, right? But the electromagnetic radiation, it doesn't need any medium, right? So it can travel through empty space or even at the vacuum, right? The electromagnetic waves travel with the same speed as that of speed of light, which is always a constant, right? So speed of light is, we know, it is approximately 3 into 10 raised to 8 meters per second. Electromagnetic waves are transverse in nature, that is, the electric vector and magnetic vector are perpendicular to each other and also to the direction of propagation. So in this diagram you can see the if this is the direction of propagation, then the electric field and the magnetic field, they are perpendicular each other and they are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation, right? So let's say this is the magnetic field vector B, right? So the magnetic field will be oscillating in this direction, whereas electric field will be oscillating in this direction. So they are mutually perpendicular to each other and they are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave, and hence they are called as transverse waves, right? So electromagnetic waves are called as transverse waves because the electric vector and magnetic vector are perpendicular to each other and they are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave, right? So the wavelengths are measured between the distances of either crust or troughs, right? So we know that these are the crust. So this is crust, this is crust, this is trough and this is trough, right? So we measure the wavelength from any consecutive crust or troughs, right? So the distance between any consecutive crust is called as wavelength and it is denoted by Greek symbol lambda, right? So the wavelength of the electromagnetic waves is related to the frequency nu by this relation c is equal to nu lambda, where c is the velocity of light. Electromagnetic waves can be polarized, right? They can be reflected, refracted, diffracted or interfere with each other. Therefore, they follow all the properties of light, right? So light is also a part of electromagnetic radiation. So EM radiation exhibit both wave properties and particle properties at the same time. So we know that light can be showing particle properties as well as wave properties, and therefore the electromagnetic radiation, it exhibits both wave properties and particle properties at the same time. So waves of electromagnetic spectrum vary in size from very long radio waves, the size of buildings, to very short gamma rays smaller than atomic nuclei, right? So gamma rays are having very small wavelengths of the order of atomic nuclei, whereas the radio waves, they are having wavelengths very bigger as the larger buildings, right? So in summary, so in today's lecture we have studied what are the electromagnetic waves, their historical perspectives, how the electromagnetic waves are produced in the laboratory. So we have studied the Hertz experiment. We have also studied different types of electromagnetic waves, and we have also studied the general properties of electromagnetic waves. In the next lecture, we will study the electromagnetic spectrum and different types of electromagnetic waves in detail. Thank you.